They don't get deals that...
They should be wage slaves for a little bit. Come over and make a salary and grow their brand. They should be wage slaves for a little bit. They should be wage...
And did the boot-licking rhinos that are sitting here in social media and content creators come out to bootlick the Daily Wire real fast. Real fast. Good for Steven Crowder, man. Good for him. Honestly, this is infuriating. So for those of you that don't need a background on this, Steven Crowder is 6 million subscribers on YouTube. He's one of, if not the biggest conservative commentator. And he just left The Blaze. And he's been in negotiations to bring his show to a more permanent distributor platform. And he was in negotiations to do so with the Daily Wire. Throughout these contract negotiations, they offered him apparently a lot of money. But there were a number of provisions in this contract that made the actual number that they offered significantly less. And he turned down the money, the potential money, because built into the contract was that basically he had to toe the line to make the full amount of money.
Let's say it's a kid who comes in with 500,000 YouTube subscribers or something like that, 100,000. Let's say some other kid you're paying 6 figures to come in and do it. There's not the penalty of the demonetization or if they're removed from iTunes, Apple, YouTube.
Yeah, sure there would.
But to run the show that he would run, that he runs to this day, he would lose up to 80% of the money that was allegedly built into this contract.
There can be no next me if the people at the top with the financial resources are doing the bidding. That's being the arm of big tech. What you just said is, well, we have to play ball with big tech if we want to make money. Well, I don't. Why don't you guys follow a model like I have and scale it? That's what I've been doing since 2014. You know that. Has been trying to make sure, which I thought we were all doing, that we can all flip the bird to Silicon Valley. This is saying we need him and you need to play ball.
And, isn't it wonderful to... And he recorded it. It's wonderful to see people like Actual Justice Warrior, Nuance Bro, Viva Frey all come out with their tongues out to lick the boots of Ben Shapiro, Jeremy whatever at the Daily Wire. These guys are absolute rhino cucks. This is unbelievable. Basically what the Daily Wire was trying to do was get Crowder to sign a contract where built in layman's terms, if the liberals at big tech don't want you to earn money, then you won't be earning money.
What I'm talking about is you're describing a model for everyone, not just, let's get rid of me here. Everyone, if there's a penalty for being demonetized on YouTube, because your business model requires that be a huge component of it, you need to change your business model or this movement cannot work, Jeremy. I can't imagine my show trying to come up and be beholden to YouTube advertiser guidelines, let alone, honestly, being beholden from a conservative entity with hard strikes, right, being removed, but let alone being advertiser friendly. We know how broad those guidelines are. They might as well just read, don't say anything offensive, and they change them at the drop of a hat.
I'm not suggesting that the guidelines are
knocking off 20% of the earnings in the contract if you get a community guideline strike from the liberals at big tech. Imagine someone trying to be conservative on big tech with the type of stuff that's gotten community guideline strikes done to them, having to worry about that, having that hanging over their head, or losing 20% off your potential earnings if YouTube limits your ad capabilities on a video. You want to know how ridiculous that is? The video I just did on Greta Thunberg, where I don't really even say anything, I don't even think I swear in that video. I just lay out the facts. I show a video of her getting fake arrested. I show the news reporting it as real, despite the video evidence and them not retracting it. And I talk about how, isn't this a wonder why then people don't buy in to the Main Street narrative that she's trying to push? YouTube limited the ads. So I would get, if I worked for the Daily Wire, I would get fined 20% of my contract just for that. That's insane. Because a bunch of liberals can't handle the fact over at Big Tech that review this stuff, couldn't handle the fact that I was going in on their girl. The Daily Wire, who's supposed to be conservative, who's supposed to stand up for conservative values, who's supposed to stand up against this Big Tech censorship and this unfair treatment that gets levied down on top of conservative commentators, is going to be like, yeah, well, they decided maybe you should have played ball. That is rhino-ass behavior. Republican in name only. Rhino, fake conservative, whatever. Now, I could put aside my differences with people at the Daily Wire, considering they are pretty much pro-Palestinian genocide, which is, horrendous. But in the grand scheme of things, pushing more conservative, not even conservative, but more anti-liberal establishment values is extremely valuable. But clearly, when you put these kinds of things into contracts, what you're doing is no different than what any liberal content creator or liberal media conglomerate is doing as well. You're taking, and the term that got me was wage slave.
Bench talent, young talent, they don't get deals like this.
So they don't get deals that...
They should be wage slaves for a little bit, come over and make a salary and grow their brand.
That you then own.
Well, I own parts of it. I don't own it. They can, when their contract's up, they can still go out and they'll still be famous. They can keep doing their shows, so go do a show somewhere else. They'll be in a far, far, far better place. You helped to make them.
No, not long at this contract. This contract owns it in perpetuity even after the contract. You're paying a lease but getting ownership.
So what they want to do is they want to wait for a conservative content creator to get to 6-figure subscribers. Then they're going to make them sign a contract that gives the Daily Wire the rights to all of their content, while simultaneously punishing them now for not towing the Big Tech line. So all these people that get to that level, that did it on their own, are then just handing over the rights to the Daily Wire, and the Daily Wire gets to go, now you have to do what the liberals say, or you're not going to make this money. I mean, you don't have to, but you were making 150 grand a year on your YouTube channel. We're going to offer you 500 grand, but if you do the exact thing that got you that 150 grand to begin with, you're going to only make 100,000 and you're going to have no rights to your actual content. You're not going to be able to use it. You're not going to be able to leave to use it somewhere else. We're going to own it all. That is unbelievable. And they tried to build, and imagine if Steven Crowder, 6 million subs, okay, 6 million subs, doesn't need anyone. Absolutely running the show over at Rumble. I think he's the biggest one over at Rumble, him and Russell Brand. Doesn't need this, but just wants to be a part of it to help build up something. Build up some type of business that can compete. To be a part of that. To be a big part of that. Imagine if that guy signs that kind of contract. What kind of precedent does that set for somebody who's got like this independent built up following that's a fraction of what Crowder has, but still makes a good living, but it's still a fraction of what he has. What precedent does that set? That sets a terrible precedent. And people were like, oh, he was recording his friend. Maybe if his friend wasn't trying to use Steven Crowder to set such an unbelievably stupid, unbelievably predatorial precedent within the company, within the industry, then none of this would have happened. Maybe if you negotiate in good faith, maybe if you're not a complete piece of garbage, trying to steal people's content and then suppress the message that you're trying to actually claiming that you want out there. You can't say that you don't want conservatives to be punished for being conservative, but then build into your contracts that, well, if we're going to punish you for the same stuff that the liberals are punishing you for. That is unbelievable garbage. And when you have these fucking people, oh, there's the swear word. You have these fucking people. I understand the Daily Wire people. Candace Owens, Matt Walsh. I understand them coming out and being like, I agree with everything this company does. Fine, toe the line. And you guys are the ones that they use clearly as a shield to hide what they're trying to do behind the scenes that Crowder just exposed. Because Matt Walsh can make all this stuff about transgender people. Candace Owens can say all this stuff about Black Lives Matter. No problem. No problem. Jordan Peterson can make all these like lecturing videos to Muslims and Christians and then soft shoe around Judaism. Like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. And not get punished at all. Live on complete guaranteed contracts. So in that way, it looks like the Daily Wire is totally for absolute freedom of speech, absolute political discourse, and not punishing people for simply not being liberal enough. But then behind the scenes, they're doing that. They're doing exactly that. If the liberals don't want you to make money, if the liberals at big tech don't want you to make money, then you're not going to make money. I know what this number says. I know this number says X, but if the liberals are just like, I don't want him to make X, then we're going to have to be like, well, it looks like you're not making X. Garbage. Garbage. Absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. There's not enough money in the world to compromise your principles that much. Steven Crowder doesn't need all that money. Really. He makes enough money running the show his way on the platforms he runs it on, his own personal website, Rumble, even on YouTube, even though YouTube probably doesn't give him ads, but he has sponsors built into the channel that can at least click links to make him some money that way. He doesn't need that corporation. But then what happens with the people that do? Someone like me, who makes, I just got monetized. And I'm already getting these limited things. I'm like trying to navigate through it. So what they're targeting is somebody who's building up, who's just like, who goes through all this crap of making no money, trying to navigate through the algorithms and all that, who do all the work, who do all the big load stuff, all the legwork. And then the Daily Wire just swoops right in with these fake promises, with this fine print built into these contracts. Absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. Garbage. They should be embarrassed. They're not embarrassed because clearly they're fake conservatives. They're just corporate bullshitters like everybody else. Just like the people at CNN, just like the people at Vox and Vice and MSNBC, they're corporate bootlicking bullshitters. Period. I'm done. I'm out. Thanks for coming. And leave in the comment section what you think. Because I'm ready to go to war over this. I am. I'm sick of fake conservatives. I'm sick of fake, phony conservatives who just pretend to be it, but then still push the liberal BS that someone like me is trying to navigate his way around. But if you want real, actual values to be talked about here, if you want to actually hear that stuff, you don't want to worry about somebody who's friggin' out here not wanting to talk about shit, subscribe to this channel. I'll see you guys with the next video next time. Fire it up. Fire it up.